Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a check engine light diagnosis on a 2005 Hyundai Santa Fe. This is a friend's car. So I'm going to bring you along to show you how to do the check engine light scan and how to read the voltage on this reference that we're getting. So let's turn the car on just to show you the light does stay on. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hook up the scanner and show you what the code is. Alright, so we have our scanner hooked up to our OBD2. It's going to go ahead and go through all of its protocols and link with the car, and then we'll go ahead and retrieve the code, and we'll show you what code number it is and what circuit we're working with. Alright, so the scanner is hooked up. It did retrieve the code. It's P0340 camshaft position sensor A circuit, bank 1 or single sensor. Let's go ahead and confirm that this is our vehicle. Yep. Alright, so right here it says camshaft position sensor resistor, sensor signal circuit open or shorted to ground. Sensor ground circuit is open. So let's go ahead and pop the hood. Let's go ahead and get the voltage from the battery before we start troubleshooting. Always make sure you have a good battery before you do any kind of troubleshooting. That way you don't have any kind of weird issues with low voltage from your power supply. Alright, so let's go ahead and hook up our multimeter leads to our battery, verify our source voltage before we start troubleshooting. Alright, so this battery reads 12.5 volts, so we're good to go. Let's start troubleshooting the circuit. So we're going to be looking at this connector right here, this green guy. We're going to be measuring the 3 pins on the back for 12 volt, 5 volt reference, and ground to the sensor, so we can verify all the connections previously. Modules are good. Once we get that established, then we can start isolating the problem more. What I believe is this car has a pretty bad oil leak, and that it's just going to get around the sensor, and it's causing that resistance to act like an open. But the car does start and run. As you've seen before, it does have a little bit of a miss, and if you ignore this problem, there can be a couple things that happen with this trouble code. It can actually cause the vehicle to stall, or it can cause it to crank no start. So let's get to it. Okay, so I have the sensor disconnected, or the connector disconnected, I should say. So we're going to go ahead and get a reading from all 3 of these pins, and then I'll show you the readout on the multimeter whenever we start going along with that process. Alright, so follow along with the multimeter as I read out these pins to you. By the way, this is with the key to on position, engine off. We have a clear 5 volt reference right there, as you see. And then we have a great power source reading as well. It's a little bit further diagnosis into this. Ohming out the ground side of the connector. We actually are getting really high resistance. It was definitely bright high resistance or short to ground. So now we gotta inspect this harness further and see where this problem actually is. So now I'm kind of looking at this a little further, and it actually looks like this has been replaced before and it didn't fix the problem. So that is interesting. So maybe we can possibly find a background somewhere in this harness and we can show you how to fix that. Alright, so after a little bit more investigation, followed the harness back through the bulkhead, and we'll take off this this kick panel here, and now we're looking at the ECM. But now this actually kind of solidifies the thought that somebody else tried to do this job before, because where this ground kind of runs into the ECM, it has to go through this joint connector, and there's electrical tape wrapped around it. It looks like somebody did themselves. So I wonder if we're having our ground issue here. So we're going to start here and then ohm that out. Alright, so did find an aftermarket repair on the connector harness next to the ECM. So I'm going to show you the before and after of the ohm reading on that pin. So before, you guys seen that it was 50, so now let's hit it again right there. Let's watch the ohm meter jump up to 1.2. Okay. So let's turn the key on. Let's check the other 2 pins. All right, so now let's check our 12 and 5 volt references. So there's our 5, and there's our 12. Okay, so let's connect the sensor back up. I'm gonna start it and see if the code still is stored. Okay, start. So the code did come back on, which is interesting. So I did run it for a while and it was off. So let's rescan it. Okay, so it is the same code. All right. So erase it. Okay, erase was successful. So now the code's pending. So there's definitely like an intermittent issue with the ground side of this somewhere. It seems to have gotten a little bit better after taking off that tape that was put on there and cleaning that up, but we'll continue to dive into this. All right, so what we're gonna do now, since the code seems to be remaining off, is we're gonna do a drive cycle of this vehicle and simulate road conditions on a test drive, and then we'll see from there. Right now our specs seem to be within good reason for that connector back. So let's go ahead and go on a test drive and see if this code comes back. Alright, so we just completed the test drive on this vehicle, drove it around for about 3 to 5 minutes according to the drive cycle procedure. The check engine light did not kick back on, which is a really good sign. So we're gonna let this vehicle idle for about another additional 2 minutes, and then we'll turn it off, turn it back on just to verify the repair is good to go. Okay, so now the check engine light remains off during start, but this could continue to potentially be an intermittent problem. But we're gonna leave it right here and finish this video out. If this continues to be a problem, we'll shoot another video of more in-depth diagnosis to it, but right now it seems to have remedied the problem with it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Thank you.